Last week, I had a major aha moment and I thought about it for a week and I couldn't get it out of my head. So I decided that I had to make a video because you've got to hear this. Stick around. Hey y'all, welcome back. In case you are new here or we don't know each other, my name is Dr. Allison. I am a licensed clinical psychologist and I've pretty much made it my life mission to really simplify psychology. So, to break down the science and talk about everything I know as a psychologist so that you can live a healthier and more meaningful life. A couple of weeks ago, I had the privilege of being featured on the Optimal Living Daily podcast. This is actually a podcast that I have listened to for years, and I was super excited about it. The cool thing about this podcast is that they feature the work of various authors and writers. And instead of having them on, the host actually reads the piece that they've written and then shares their reflections on the work and the piece and how it applies to our daily lives. Now, the Optimal Living Daily team actually reached out to me months ago and asked if I would be willing, to have them read my work. I was super excited and said yes, of course. But then a couple months went by and nothing really came of it. So I thought it wouldn't happen, a little bit bummed and moved on. But then a couple of weeks ago, I noticed I was tagged in something on Instagram from them, and I saw that they had actually read and featured one of my articles on their podcast, and I could not click over fast enough to listen to it. I'll be honest, I was nervous to hear my work read out loud. I tend to be my harshest critic, and so I wasn't really sure about how it would sound, and I prepared and kind of braced myself to not really love what I heard. However, a few minutes in, I really got caught up into what the host was sharing. Like I was listening, I was vibing with it, and all of a sudden I had this spontaneous thought of like, dang, this is really good. Who wrote this? And no joke, like a split second after, it's like, wait a minute, I wrote this. These are my words. I wrote this awesome thing that I'm listening to. And after an initial laugh and sort of a head shake at myself, I realized why this was so powerful. Because hearing my words and my work in someone else's voice gave me enough distance and enough space to actually hear myself. It gave me the perspective, right, of just removed enough that I couldn't get caught up in my normal self-criticism and sort of harsh, perspective on myself. Hearing my work in someone else's words allowed me to step outside of myself, step around, and see myself in a different and honestly more accurate light. I'm sharing this story and I'm making this video today because I want you to know this. You are way harsher on yourself than anyone else. You judge yourself way more than anybody else does. And I'm going to bet that you do not see yourself and your work and your worth and your goodness accurately. Without realizing it, you distort and you skew so much about yourself. Whether it's the way you look, whether it's the way you work, whether it's the way you parent, whether it's how you interact with others, or, what others see when they look at you. I can just about guarantee that the way you think about yourself, the way you see yourself is not clear and is not accurate. And if you're wondering, okay, Dr. Allison, you don't know me, so how the heck do you know that? I know that because you and me, we are humans, and that is the way we are programmed. We are wired, and we tend to default to being overly critical and not seeing ourselves as accurate as hopefully we can. So this week, if you find yourself lost in a moment of self-criticism, remember, it's probably not as accurate as you think it is. If you find yourself beating yourself up for something that you didn't do well, or something that you said, or something that you did, remember that's probably not as accurate or true as it feels. If you are evaluating something about yourself in the mirror or the metaphorical mirror, remember that mirror and the lens that you're viewing yourself through, it's not crystal clear. So be curious and be gentle and be kind as you see yourself. Try to practice stepping outside of yourself and thinking about a more accurate way to view yourself. I know this is hard, and for me, even as a psychologist, it took hearing my work and my words in someone else's voice to really remember and have this powerful reminder that the way I see myself, the way I think about myself, is not always accurate. And kind of an exciting little heads up, actually, hearing my work in a podcast format kind of gave me the courage to do something that I've been thinking about doing for a long time. I think I am jumping in to the podcast game. I'm still working on all the details and the release date and all that goodness. However, this experience, the one I'm sharing about now, it gave me the courage to say, I can do this. What I have, what I bring, what I share, it is good enough. And so I want you to remember that. This is not a kudos to me, I'm so great. This is my reminder to you that we do not see ourselves accurately. And when we can work to do that, y'all, really awesome, good, brave, courageous things can happen. Thank you so much for being with me today. This was a little bit more of an unusual video for me. So if you're new here or you want some of my other content, poke around my channel. You can also head to my website, drallisonanswers.com. There is lots of goodness over there. As always, go live healthy, authentic, meaningful lives. May not be easy, but you won't regret it. All right, bye-bye.